Is SimpliSafe worth it? If you search that question, you'll get 100 videos comparing specs and star ratings. That's not what this video is. After designing and installing security systems for over 20 years, I can tell you that worth it depends entirely on what you expect the system to do and whether SimpliSafe was designed to do it. So let's break this down honestly. What SimpliSafe does well, where it hits a ceiling, and who it actually fits. Let's start with credit where it's due, because SimpliSafe does several things that genuinely matter. First, no long-term commitment. You can cancel monitoring at any time. And even if you cancel, you still have mobile app control. You can arm and disarm the system from your phone without paying a monthly fee. That's unusual because most systems tie basic functionality to a subscription. Second, flexible monitoring. SimpliSafe doesn't just offer one monitoring plan. They offer a range, from basic sensor monitoring all the way up to sophisticated video-based response. And you can move between tiers as your needs change. No penalty, no renegotiation. Third, the setup is genuinely straightforward. Wireless sensors, adhesive mounting, a guided app experience. For a standard-sized home with a manageable number of entry points, the installation is something many homeowners can handle like a weekend project. And they offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's a real trial period, enough time to actually live with the system and decide if it fits. Now, here's where SimpliSafe gets more interesting than most people realize, and where the cost picture changes. Their entry-level monitored plan covers the basics: intrusion, fire, carbon monoxide, environmental sensors. A monitoring center receives your alarm signals, follows a verification process, and can request dispatch from local authorities. This is traditional professional monitoring in the low to mid $20 per month range. Quick note, this plan isn't always prominently featured on their website, so you may have to look for it. But it does exist, and for homeowners who want reliable monitoring without video features, it's worth knowing about. Their core plan, which is easier to find, runs in the low to mid $30 per month. It adds video verification of alarms, which means if you have their cameras installed, and if those cameras capture video evidence during an alarm, agents will relay that information to your local authorities if a dispatch is requested, which can sometimes result in a faster response. And then they have Pro and Pro Plus tiers with what they call Active Guard outdoor protection. These plans, which range from roughly $50 to $80 per month, are where things shift from reactive to proactive. With outdoor cameras, monitoring agents aren't just waiting for an intrusion signal. They can observe suspicious activity outside your home and intervene with audio, a camera spotlight, and a siren, potentially before an intruder even reaches a door or window. That distinction matters. Traditional monitoring is reactive. A sensor trips, then response begins. Active outdoor monitoring is proactive. A trained agent can intervene before a break-in even starts. That's a fundamentally different approach to protection. The difference between the two tiers is coverage window. One covers overnight hours only, the other covers around the clock. But here's the cost reality. At the higher monitoring tiers, you could be approaching $1,000 a year just for monitoring. That's in the range of what some locally installed, professionally designed systems charge. The more capability you add to a DIY system, the more that cost gap narrows. This is the part most SimpliSafe reviews skip entirely. SimpliSafe doesn't eliminate complexity, it transfers responsibility to you. You choose the sensors, you decide where they go, you're responsible for testing, troubleshooting, and maintaining the system over time. Batteries will need replacing, sensors may need repositioning, and if something doesn't work the way you expect, you're the service department. I've seen this pattern many times. A homeowner installs a system, and it works fine, until the house gets more complex, and then false alarms increase, or the system just stops being used altogether. The system didn't fail, it just wasn't designed for that level of complexity, and nobody walked them through the design. Now, SimpliSafe does offer professional installation for an additional fee, but installation and design are not the same thing. Someone can mount your sensors exactly where you tell them to, but if the sensor strategy doesn't match how you actually live, mounting precision doesn't fix the problem. Every system has an optimization range. Here's where SimpliSafe's range ends. First, it's a closed ecosystem. SimpliSafe works with Alexa and Google Assistant for basic voice commands. You can arm the system by voice, check status, things like that. But it doesn't integrate with broader automation platforms. There's no Z-Wave, no Zigbee, no native connection to smart lighting, thermostats, or control systems. What does that mean practically? In SimpliSafe, if a motion sensor trips, it can trigger an alarm, but it can't turn your hallway lights on. It can't tell your thermostat you're home. Your security system and your smart home live in separate worlds. If you want automation, you're running separate apps for separate systems. Second, scaling. SimpliSafe is fully wireless. For a system with a dozen or so devices, that can be very manageable. But as systems grow, 20, 30, 40 devices, the maintenance load grows with it. More batteries, more supervision signals, more notifications to manage. That's not a flaw in SimpliSafe specifically. It's the physics of any wireless system at scale. SimpliSafe can be a strong fit if your home is small to mid-sized, your security needs are relatively standard, perimeter doors, maybe some motion detectors, a camera or two, and you're comfortable being the person who manages the system day to day. It's worth considering alternative systems if your home is larger or more complex, if you want your security system to be part of a broader automation strategy, or if you'd rather have someone else own the design, the installation, and the ongoing maintenance. So, is SimpliSafe worth it? Within its optimization range, yes. It's a capable, flexible, well-supported DIY system with monitoring options that go well beyond what most people expect from a DIY brand. But the question was never really whether SimpliSafe is a good system. The question is whether your needs, your home, your habits, your long-term goals fit what SimpliSafe was designed to do. Answer that honestly, and you'll make the right decision. If this kind of honest, experience-based guidance is useful to you, consider subscribing. We cover security systems, monitoring, sensors, and automation, all from 20 years of real-world experience. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.